Good morning, Renee. Hey. How are you today?
There you go. Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you were taking the lead today, so I didn't even get the link ready.
No, I'm good. I'm all good. All right, so I have this set to start recording. So we are already recording, and so let's just go ahead and get started. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. All right, so today I don't know if we're gonna kind of do a little bit of a makeup class because yesterday's technology was not our friend.
It failed. It failed us miserably.
Into the evening. I don't even know what happened, but it gave me a nice break from Facebook, and it also reminded me how much I rely on Facebook to reach out to my customers. So
I know.
Yes. So
I literally, get it.
I think we're all kind of in that boat. Even people who don't run businesses were like, "What's going on?" So the whole world is addicted to Facebook.
Mine was Instagram. I was like freaking out. I could not log in. So I'm like, am I going to log in and nothing's going to be there? Like, I was like freaking out.
Yeah. I just did other stuff, which I had plenty of things to do. So.
Right.
All right. So today we're going to talk about parties and, Parties. So party we talked about in Renee's, when she was talking on Tuesday about, maybe the word party doesn't have the most positive connotation, but anything can be a party. We're just going to use the word party to describe anything you do in your business where you share posh to more than one person. Okay? This is how you grow your business, and parties like this are the best way to grow your business because it doesn't cost you anything to do it, for starters. There's no cost to rent a booth. You don't have to have tables or table drapes, or you don't have to have props for your table. You don't have to have anything you need for events. You just show up with the products that you have. The hostess introduces you to her friends. We'll talk about different formats for sharing and introducing you to new people as well. And then Posh rewards them for that. They send the thank you gift, right? They send the free stuff. They send the half price items. And all you probably need to do is give them a call and thank them, or send them a handwritten thank you note from you. You don't have to do anything more than that. And for free, you've built your business. And your business is really only going to thrive if you're meeting new people. Now, we have a consumable product that people are going to reorder, but at different rates and different paces. And so if you're growing, you always want to be meeting new people to become customers, hostesses, and to join you in the business. So parties, the broad sense of parties, is going to be the best way to do it and the fastest way to do it, because you're going to realize, Cindy always says, every person you know knows 200 people you don't know, which I think is probably pretty true. So we're going to talk about how to do that. And good morning. And we're going to talk about how to ask people and what types of parties we can use as well. So the hardest part, we were talking in our leader group, like if we ever don't have our calendars as full as we want them to be, it's because we didn't ask. Almost always. Not always. Sometimes you ask and it's just not good timing for people. But the hardest part of the whole thing with parties is asking and getting up the nerve to ask. And we feel like I don't know, it feels personal. It's hard to ask when you think there's a chance you might hear no. I mean, in all aspects of my life, I find this to be true. We're building a garage and like, what if you did this? Well, what if they tell me no? Who cares? I can always ask, right? The answer is always no if you don't ask. It can never be yes if you don't tell them what you want. And if by telling someone, hey, I'd love to do a party for you. Would you be interested in doing something this month? We can get the girls together and I'll bring over all of my pampering and we'll just have a fun girls' night. That doesn't sound like a big ask, right? Not like saying, hey, can we add a 300 more square foot to the garage? That's a big ask. So this is little, something simple. And I think it needs to be personal. A lot of people will say, I've posted on Facebook and nobody wants to do a party. That doesn't work. It really doesn't work. Once in a great while. I can remember one time I did a post and I got 2 parties in 7 years. So But I think it's okay to post once in a while just to remind people that that's an option. But then if you post some, like maybe you say, if you're posting some kind of incentive, then you have to call, text, or message people to follow up on that and say, hey, did you see my post? I'm offering, an extra half price item to everyone who hosts a party in March or April. So you have to do that personal contact, okay? And phone calling is good. It really is. I mean, your voice and your enthusiasm are best shared through a phone call. But I understand wanting to do a text or a private message through social media, and I think that's okay too. If you don't hear back, though, don't feel too hurt. Lots of people won't write back. I get that all the time. They're like, sometimes they're let me think about it. Sometimes they're like, oh, no, I just can't do that right now. And then the people who write me back, I always say, thank you so much for getting back to me, even if they say no, because I know it's hard as women to tell people no. And I think that's sometimes why people just don't respond. So anyway, reach out, make it personal. Tell them why you would love to do a party with them. You're so much fun, and I miss seeing you. I would love to share some of our new pampering products with you. You have a great group of girlfriends. We had such a fun time at your last Posh get together. I'd love to do it again. Make it really personal. Talk about them. I have a product I know that you will love, and I'd love to help you get it for free. All these kinds of things are good ways to ask. And you have something to offer. You're not asking them to do something big for you for free. You're asking them to have some fun with you and be rewarded. We have to remember that in our heads. We are asking them to do something that is fun, and they get a reward for doing it, okay? So it's not always going to be easy to ask, but I can promise you it will not get any easier if you don't do it. Practice makes perfect. I'm sure your parents probably said that to you just like mine. Things get easier with practice. Everything gets easier with practice. No, there are very few of us that start out really good at things. But it gets easier the more you do it. The words will roll off your tongue. You'll feel more confident. You'll be less bothered by the lack of response or no responses. And you'll just know you're looking for the people who want to. You can't find them if you don't ask. So you have to ask. You're not looking for the no's and the people who don't respond. You're just looking for the yeses. So the best way I've found to do is just say, I'm going to spend the next hour reaching out to people and asking them if they'd like to host. And every time I've done that, I get bookings. It's awesome. And you're doing it in a concentrated way. You're sending out quite a few messages, so the no's don't feel bad because you're also getting some yeses. Anything to add to that, Renee?
I think with that, though, if you just do that, I mean, I get overwhelmed really easy, you guys, if I do not make my list every day. I will shut down. I'm done. I can't do it. I'm overwhelmed. So if you add this one, you're like, oh my gosh, that's just a lot to do. Literally on your calendar, at the end, the beginning of the last week of the month. So in February, at the last week of February, the first day of the last week, I sat down just like Jenny did, and I just hashed it out in 1 hour, and I'm done. Okay. Not the fact that I'm still not actively asking people to host a party when I'm doing my follow-ups, but putting something like that, a concentrated hour in just trying to get bookings for the next month, one time a month, will help you build that momentum to do it. And it'll keep you consistent. And then throughout the month, you're not so worried. Like the next month, March hits, and you're like, crap, I have no parties. What am I doing? I don't have anything. And you're trying to scramble, trying to get parties. But if you would have done it that last week of the month, be like, hey, and you reached out for an hour, reached out to a bunch of people, you sent those messages to, hopefully by then they're all trickling in, and you have good funnels already in place to where, okay, let's book you this, let's book you this, let's do this. So when you're doing your follow-up, I really hope that in your second follow-up, you guys, you remember the 1-1-1 method. First follow-up is the day after they order. You just say, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your order. I can't wait for you to get it. And then a week after that, you follow up with them again to make sure they got their order and everything was perfect. And in that little text or that email, you're going to share with them the 3 Posh opportunities about hosting. It looks like you already enjoyed some shopping, but you can get some more of your wish list for free if you decide to do a pampering party, or you can do what I do and become a pampering influencer and have so much fun and get affiliate discounts and however you want to word it. But I hope that you're doing that, because then you're repeatedly being consistent and sharing with them every time that they order that, hey, maybe you should host. Hey, maybe you should host. So that's all I have to say.
Yes. Just getting into those good habits is really important. And if you did it once a month, like end of February, you're trying to book March, some are going to spill over into April. So you're going to just be like, you want to be looking at least 2 months out, and you know, probably wouldn't book. Maybe the third month, sometimes I'll book, but not too much further out than that. But you're going to get some spillover into the second month. And so then if you're doing that consistently, you're going to get better at it. It's going to feel more comfortable, and you're going to have a really full calendar. You're going to meet so many cool people. So, all right. So let's talk about, I'm going to share my coffee story, because I like the coffee story. I don't know if you've been a waitress before, but I was a waitress. My first waiting job was in a coffee shop in my little hometown, and it was a diner. But at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays, all the old men would come to the coffee shop, and they would get the city newspaper called the Belleville Telescope, and they would all drink coffee and talk about whatever was in the newspaper. And I would just go around and coffee. Who wants coffee? Does anybody need a refill? Do you need a warm up? Who need, you know? And they didn't always say yes, but that was okay. And sometimes I even went back and asked again, are you ready for a refill now? Or would you like some coffee now? You know? And Sarah Robbins, if you've heard me talk about her before, she's a really good trainer in our industry. And she talks about how the waitress goes around with coffee, asks everybody, you want some coffee? Who wants coffee? Let's have some coffee. It's really good coffee. And it doesn't matter to her whether they say yes or no. She's just looking for the people who say yes, because she wants them to have the coffee that they want, right? So same thing for hosting. It's not personal. It's not about you. But if you don't ask, you're not going to get the parties. They're not going to get their coffee, right? So, just decide you're going to do it and spend a little time. It'll get easier. Let's talk about different types of parties. I think we're all pretty familiar with home parties, where you just invite a bunch of girls, you take all the pampering, and then you show them all the stuff. That's the most traditional way to do it. And you can call those like a spa night, a girls' night in, something different than party if you'd like. I think that makes it sound a little more interesting. I think most of us are familiar with the concept of Facebook parties, and those can be really good too. There are a lot of good ways to get people engaged online that way. I also learned of a new one recently from one of the girls on our team. She's doing messenger parties. So she'll get with a hostess, create a referral link for that hostess, and then the hostess will just create a group on Facebook, and that's where they'll request sample packs from her, and then they'll check in and talk about how they liked the products. She'll share information about the products. You can do videos through Messenger or voice recordings, and it really allows a group of people to interact, and it allows there to be kind of a really personal conversation. And so that's another way that might be really good for sharing our products as well. I've had like coffee dates with a couple of girls, or out for drinks or something like that can be really nice and easy. And you can't take everything. You just take a handful of really cool products that are easy to try while you're at the coffee shop. But it's low key and it's fun. What about you, Renee? Do you have some ideas that you want to share about types of parties?
Yeah, so those are all great. Like I was going to share about the messenger party. So you could do thread parties where people actually, I've done 2 of them. They actually posted a main picture on their main Facebook page wall, and then we had a party in the thread, like literally just in the thread. So it got people, oh, am I muted?
No, I can hear you, but not very well.
Oh,
It
that's
might
good.
just be me.
Let me move closer. Is this better?
Perfect.
Okay. My computer is further away, so maybe this will help. Anyway, so like I said, yeah, you could do thread parties, have a party in a thread. I've done this in my VIP group because when people comment on that thread, they'll automatically get notifications when somebody else posts something, okay? Because that's the whole thing. We're trying to beat this algorithm, right? Because groups, Facebook party groups and events it's hard because notifications are getting all weird, Facebook's screwy, we cannot trust it. Okay, so we're trying to find different avenues and ways. So you could do a party in a thread, or party in a messenger. I do Instagram parties and they're all in a group chat. And why I love it is that it's limited. You can only put 30 people total in a group chat. So number one, it's making your hostess actually pay attention and listen to you. Be like, hey, you cannot invite more than 30 people. So they're not mass inviting people. And it's all in a group chat. And people are loving it because we're communicating. We're actually creating relationships with each other. And that's what it's all about, right? It's all about community and creating those relationships with our customers. So I do that. And I also do brand reps, you guys. So this is a new way. I came up with this way earlier actually at the end of last year. So brand repping and brand enthusiasts are a huge thing in the industry when it comes to influencers and things like that. And especially maybe the way that we're probably going direction-wise with Posh. So with that being said, I do brand enthusiasts. So on my Instagram page, I only do it on Instagram because I get more return on Instagram than I do on Facebook. I only run my business in my VIP group on Facebook. So back to Instagram. I put a post in my stories. I'm asking for brand reps, brand enthusiasts, and what they do is that they get their own shopping link that they can share in their, because on Instagram you can add a website link to any type of profile, right? And so they'll get their own personalized shopping link that their followers can go click on. And I set a budget for myself, and every single month they get a handful of samples, different samples to try, and one full-size product. Okay, that's my marketing budget. And my full-size product I use perks on so I can write it off, or I use my half-price item on. So if you are on a low budget, use those. Use what Posh has given you, okay? Especially if you're getting some of that free stuff too. If you're hosting your own party online, you're getting those free party rewards for hitting those things. Use those products as the things that you're going to send out. So with that being said, I do that. They have kind of like a little contract to the fact that if you're a brand enthusiast, since I'm sending you free stuff and it's full-size stuff, it's not just samples, that they post in their Instagram stories, or they create content on their Instagram feed and they tag me in it, and they can direct people to shop through their personal link. So I have a good 3 or 4 great brand reps who do this for me every day. They don't have huge parties, but they slowly rack up their perks. And with that, just as a thank you, I send them a half-price coupon for posting. So they use it, but it's free. It's technically free marketing for me, and it's getting my name out so people can follow me. And what's great about this is that it's training them to the fact of like, hey, I can actually do what Renee does. Because they're pretty much doing exactly what I do every day on Instagram. They're just doing it for me until it clicks to be like, hey, I want to start making money. I don't want to just get free product. So it's kind of like a two-way street, and it gets them thinking differently and outside the box. So I do brand reps and brand / enthusiasts, and I make majority of my PVs from Instagram because of that. So you're muted.
I muted myself because I have a frog in my throat. I love that idea of doing the brand reps on Instagram. I think it's brilliant. Yeah. And it's really out of the box thinking, and it might work better for some of you guys. So think about trying some brand new different ways. It doesn't have to look like a bunch of women sitting around in a living room. It can, because that really works. It's been working for decades, but maybe the best way for you is something a little different. So Renee's idea is brilliant. Other ideas, like a catalog party or send out samples with the hostess, have them take it to the office. Zoom party. I'm doing my first Zoom party this month using this platform right here. I think the only drawback that I'm finding, it just takes a little bit of training because not everybody uses Zoom, right? So just making sure you're really clear with your hostesses on what this looks like. But I have one this month with someone who's used Zoom in their business before, and I'm really excited to see how it goes. But she's going to get a group of girls together at her house. I'm sending them products and samples to try.
Oh, that's smart.
And then she can also invite friends who are not local to her to tune in via Zoom. It's going to be super awesome. And I'm rewarding her at certain levels when she gets a certain number of people to join, and I'm sending her everything that she needs to do it. And then I'll just be here in Boise, and she'll be over in Colville, Washington, doing it. So, and I did one of these through, I think we used FaceTime or something like that a couple years ago with a Wines at Home rep that I know, and she was in Reno and we were here, and we all sat around in the living room, and she was on my TV telling us what to do and when, and a little bit about the wines and all that kind of stuff. And it was really a lot of fun. So I'm not sure why I didn't start doing that at that time, but I'm really excited to start doing Zoom parties now. And especially for people when it's just hard to get out of the house. You can't get, you don't have a sitter, or you really just want to kind of stick at home and do your work from there. This is a good option. It does take, it takes work. You have to hostess coach. You have to send samples, I think. I don't think you could have a really great party without people having something to try so they can see the quality of our products. So you have to do a lot of that legwork up front and then the follow-up on the back end. But those are really things that are true of most parties. So Zoom is another really exciting new option that I'm giving a try. I've also just offered out there all the time in my VIP group, hey, does anybody want a referral link to share with their friends? And it's very easy to do. You just create a party link for them. You offer to send samples, or I do. And then I just follow up with the people that I sent samples to. And, they're not the biggest party, but they're very low work. You don't have to put a ton of effort. If you don't have a lot of time, this is a good way to just bring in a few extra orders each month. And then you can kind of rotate around those people who, are going to be great at sharing, and invite them. Hey, we got a new catalog. Would you like to see if you can earn some of it for free? I can set up a referral link to you. And it just sounds better to somebody who's busy, and to someone who doesn't want to ask their friends to just come over and shop. It's a really good option. And you guys probably have, there used to be a company called Zaycon Chicken, and I shared my referral link, and I would get money off my chicken. And I didn't mind sharing it at all. I just put it on Facebook and said, hey, if anybody wants to jump in on this, I really like it, and here's a link. I just ordered, anyway, it's really common. You guys are probably doing some things like that anyway. And you could share that referral link and then just say, hey, and when I see you post about it on Instagram or Facebook, I'll send you a half price item. So you're getting some advertising, and they're putting the word out. So that's another really good way to reach out to people. Count it as a party. If you're trying some of these things and not having any luck, or you just like to have friends over, host your own, One of the things that I haven't done for a while, I need to do again, is I used to just have a girls' brunch once a quarter. And they would come over, usually Saturday or Sunday morning, and everybody brought something. It wasn't a party that I was having to spend money on and bake a bunch of food for, but it was kind of a potluck. I would have like a breakfast casserole, somebody bring bagels, somebody bring fruit. I'd put all the posh out, and we'd just hang out and have mimosas and coffee and have breakfast, and the posh would be out. And I'd always get some interest, some orders. Usually somebody would say, hey, let's do a party. And it was just fun, easy, laid back. So if you're not getting bookings, that is a really good time to just bring some people over and generate some excitement about the products, low key. What do you think? Other ideas on party types? Does that give them a good range to choose from?
I think that's good. I mean, I've seen I haven't had anybody bite it, but I've actually seen my 31 gal, she does texting parties.
Oh, wow.
So like a group. So it's just kind of like a messenger party, I would guess. So it would be like a texting party to where everybody goes in a group text, or there's tons of apps out there that you can create like pod texts together. So it's not like repeating. Does that make, like when you get put into like a family group text, you're like, oh God, here we go.
Kill me now.
Like, right. I'm in 5. It's like, stop. But there are apps out there that let you create kind of like pods, and everybody can opt in to like, hey, text Renee's party to 81042, and it like puts them in this pod. So when you send them a message, it just directly goes to them, and it's not like people can't people can respond to it, but it goes directly to you. It doesn't go to the mass world.
Nice.
So look up those apps. I know the Remind app does that, but I haven't really done a party on it. But the Remind app, there's a couple other ones you could search on Google, but that might be a really great option for some people who are busy. Just plan one night, be like, hey, we're having a texting party on March 25th.
Yeah.
Like, just letting you know, you're gonna get a lot of texts.
I like it.
But
So
you definitely would have to hostess coach well with that, and just make sure to be like, don't just like send, because with that, you guys, I'm going to say that really quick. When it comes to these, like, whether it's an Instagram chat group or a Facebook chat messenger or party or the text messaging, when you're mass sending stuff like that out, you really need to make sure you hostess coach to make sure that those people want to be a part of it, because if you don't, you're giving yourself a bad name as the perfectly posh rep, and you don't want to put that bitter taste in their mouth. You want them to know that, build that like no trust, that you're not this spammy salesy direct salesperson. So if you're not properly hostess coaching with those types of parties, you're doing yourself a huge disservice, because you're putting your brand and your name in the trash. Just letting you know.
Yes.
I just had to put that out there.
Yeah, we got to be careful, I think, how we do it. We want to be classy in how we're doing it. All right. So one of the other big things to remember that I think will be huge for your businesses is every time you have a party in whatever format, make sure you're doing some things to book more parties. My in-home party goal is always to have 2 parties booked by the time I leave that party to fill my calendar going forward. That gives you 1 to replace the one you just had, and then 1 just in case there are any cancellations or anything like that. And so I'll just share a little quick in-party game that I do. It's called this one. When I met Renee, I had like months of parties off of her friends with this. Months.
You're welcome.
That was so awesome.
That is why I joined Posh, you guys, because of all those parties.
So this is called a Pick a Posh Poof, or whatever you want to call it. I got these little poofs at the dollar store, and on them I put little tags that say things like, this one says, share the posh love, host a party. And then there's like free lip balm, free sample bundle, half price item, free shipping, different kinds of things, whatever you want, whatever you have. Doesn't have, and I used to have like a free petty set, which was stuff from the dollar store. Like it's not anything that's going to cost you a bunch of money, and it can be stuff that doesn't cost you any money. You can use perks to buy stuff. Could be a free mask brush or something like that. And then I would say to them, I say, all right, this is my Pick a Posh Poof basket. And I tell them all that stuff. Like, you could get this and this and this. It's completely optional. But if you pick the one that says, share the posh love, host a party, I'm coming to your house. So remember, it's optional. If you pick this, I'm coming over. We're going to set a date. But it's a lot of fun, and I promise you'll learn lots of free stuff and have a great time with your girlfriends. And then I would just go around the room, and they could pick or they could not pick. Most people always picked, and most people did book a party with me. There were a couple that were like, no, I just can't do it. But for the most part, it's very low-key. It gives me a chance to talk about parties and why they're important and why they're fun and what you get out of it, to thank my hostess and tell what she's going to get out of it, and then book some more. So you have to have your calendar ready. I always highlight the dates that I want to fill parties in before I go. Every time before I go to any party, I've got the dates highlighted that I want to work, and I've got all my commitments already in my calendar so I don't have to reschedule. That's one way to do it. Another way that works pretty well is telling your hostess in advance, hey, if you have some friends that book a party, I'll give you X for each party that's booked from your party. And maybe it's perks. It's, it's $10 and free shopping. It's your perks points that you're giving them, or it's an extra half price item, or, maybe it's one of the exclusive free products that you get for hosting, something like that, something that doesn't cost you anything. You're saying, hey, I'll give you this. Or maybe it's their favorite product. I'll give you this for free if I get 3 bookings from your party or 2 bookings, and you've bought it with perks, so it doesn't cost you anything. Always, so getting your hostess to work for you. She's your marketing department, right? So get her out there working for you in advance. Also, you can just at the party say, you know what, I've got this. And the first person to book a party gets this. And then usually I will hang on to it and give it to them after party so they have motivation to hold the dates. I've done grab bags with stuff that was retired and I couldn't move, or maybe some dollar store items or things from the portal. And I've put them out with little cute pink bags with a date on them. These are the dates I want to fill. Okay, well, if you want to book a party, pick a date and you can have whatever's in the bag. So there are lots of creative ways to do it. There are a lot of booking games. I'm not a big game person, but I like these ways that give them something and give me an opportunity to talk about how fun parties are and what you get. So, and then always remember, at every party you're going to talk about the opportunity to host again, of course, and the opportunity to join your business. But then when you're checking people out at the end of the party, anytime you're kind of finalizing what their order is and telling them what their total is, hey, would you be interested in hosting a party? I know you said you also kind of wanted the BFF and it wasn't in your budget right now, but we could help you get that for free. Ask every person. They can say no or they can say yes. Doesn't matter. It's not about you. And that's just a good way to get in the habit of always putting that out there and keeping your calendar full. That's the hardest part. Get in the habit of asking. You'll get better at it. And hearing no is a lot easier over time once you just decide it doesn't matter. So I think those are the big tips. Anything else you want to add, Renee? Are you on mute?
There you go. No, I think that's good. I typed up my notes last night, so that's what I'm doing. I'm like going through, I think I just want to make sure we talked about the different ways, because we did miss yesterday for the Pink Plus 1 and Pink Plus 2, but I think we all, even at Pink Plus 1 to Pink Plus 3 and above, we're kind of in that warm market to where we need to come up with different ways and different things to do parties and get outside the normal party thing.
Yes.
In the Protege to Pink, we did talk about different ways to name parties, and they made fun of me, but get your thesaurus out and start looking at different ways to name a party, whether it's a soiree, to workshop, to a class. Come up with different names. So, because if the party name is not working for you, try something different and name your parties something different to attract people more to you.
Mm-hmm. So, perfect. And just one last thing I would add, if you're a Pink Plus 3 especially, you might have partied with most of your people, but they know people that you don't know. So talking to them again, maybe they could refer you to someone, or if you're not quite to that point yet and you still got some parties on the books, make sure you're booking more parties from those parties. And that's how you get out of your warm market.
And also, don't forget too, you guys, if they've already hosted for you and it's been over 6 months, they can host for you again. We have brand new products. So you have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always wanting to get, not reorder, but always want to get resupplied for the favorites that they have. So don't count them out if it's been more than 6 months. Ask them again, especially if it was a super successful party and they invite all those people back again. I guarantee after 6 months, all those people probably need a refill. So don't count them out.
Yes. And they've all been talking about how much fun it was. So there'll be more people who didn't make it last time who will want to come this time. It's all good.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us today and checking out what we have to say about parties. And hopefully we're able to impart a little wisdom to help you grow your business in this area. And then stay tuned for our April Power Up Pods. We'll have some more exciting tips and tricks to share with you then.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, guys.